Hello, everyone, and welcome back. This is weird. To Book It, Vince, the Wrestling Dream Match podcast. Live in person.
Wow.
High five. I hope they could hear we got to do it hard so that they hear it.
Okay, high five. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. It's like thigh slaps. Let's thigh slap our high five.
I'm one of your hosts, Martin Bennett, and with me, as always, is the Ayatollah of rock and rolla, Anthony Hall.
Yes, and I know this one because we looked it up before.
I mean, but do you even need to look up who the Ayatollah of rock and rolla is?
No, but I think if I didn't like refresh my memory, I probably would have forgot. But of course, it is Judas himself, Chris Jericho.
Exactly.
Yes.
But if you are listening and not watching the video, me and Anthony are sitting next to each other recording this podcast for the first time.
Yes.
Which is awesome. It was very thrown together last minute, but that's just because of busy schedules, busy boys.
Yes, that's right. That's right. I'm going on a brief trip out of the city, and Martin is in the city, and it is
for once.
It is great. We are not using Zoom this time. We're sitting across from each other. I don't get to just look up facts on my computer because now it would look awkward via the video. But I mean, I'm probably still going to do that.
Well, I mean, just looking on your phone. I also don't know how this is going to sound with these microphones, but I'm sure that it's fine. Let us know. I mean, I'll know in editing, and
yeah,
that's that. But so we were thinking of what can we do for this week, and I just thought, why don't we just pick two like fun people who would be let's go back to basics.
Yes.
Let's pick two fun people who have never faced each other. That would be awesome to face each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sort of sat brainstorming, like, what is a new guy and an old guy who have kind of the same style, but are kind of like cut from the same cloth, who like have a lot of similarities, but are different eras. And so today's episode, we're going to be booking Sammy Guevara.
Yes.
Of AEW.
The Spanish God.
Inner Circle.
Yes.
Versus Sean Waltman.
Oh my God.
Formerly also known as X-Pac, also known as X-Pac. NWO,
Ooh.
DX,
Ooh.
Kane and X-Pac.
Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is pretty wild.
And I literally have no precursor, no little like this has to happen. I just thought these two dudes have a lot of similarities just in terms of like smaller dudes. You know, there wasn't a lot of high flying, I guess, when X-Pac was the 1-2-3 Kid, famously pinning Razor Ramon on his first night.
Damn.
Changed his career forever, and then showed up in WCW as Pac, joined the NWO, and then came on over to good old WWE. And then became the wily, crazy member of DX.
Of D-Generation X. The guy loves factions.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a 2-time Hall of Famer because of his factions.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, and you know, AEW also loves factions. So I think.
Well, that's the other thing is like they're both kind of like of their factions. They're like the small sort of high energy, like high caliber wrestling guy, you know? So I figured like these two would be an interesting style, like similar styles, and what kind of their match would be like. But what could the build be? I have no clue. Because it's just like these two would be cool to face each other. How would they ever meet? I don't know.
We should book X-Pac into a faction, an existing faction in AEW, and then have them feud with the Inner Circle.
But right now, the Inner Circle is our faces.
So, okay, how about this? If we use the template of the Inner Circle and we make a Inner Circle-esque faction that includes X-Pac in the Chris Jericho position, that is a heel faction, who would be in that faction, and then how could we involve them?
Interesting.
And what would it be called?
So Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac, comes over to AEW. Crazy. Maybe there's like a fun little bit with him and Billy Gunn, DX, good old days.
Oh my God, imagine. Oh, this would be a joke. Like, they, of course, would be the laughing stock of AEW factions. But imagine like the Gun Club plus X-Pac.
Well, I can imagine that he you gotta have that reunion because it's just there for the taking.
Right.
So that could happen, and then you could have it be interrupted by the Inner Circle.
Interesting.
Like maybe this is just Inner Circle's heels. Who cares? Heel Sammy Guevara versus face X-Pac. That'd be kind of cool.
That would be kind of cool. I do also really like the face momentum that the Inner Circle has built over the last little while. So
it's been good.
So like to book a heel X-Pac coming back would be really good.
That would be really interesting.
Especially if he is just like crazy and unhinged and just like essentially just fucking shit up.
So should it straight up just be what about he joins the Hardy family office?
Interesting.
Because right now you have Hardy feuding with Christian.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, you have these two dudes who have known each other for 20 plus years. Might as well have them feud, get a good match out of it. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, maybe the Hardy family office feuds with the Inner Circle.
Right.
And let's see. There's already a lot of people in, because you have Matt Hardy.
Private Party.
You have Private Party, which is then two more. So 3. And then you have Butcher and Blade, which is technically 5. So that could be 5 on 5.
Yeah.
Unless someone gets injured.
Matt Hardy.
So what the Inner Circle, they start feuding. Maybe like the Inner Circle screw up one of his matches accidentally.
Screw up one of Matt Hardy's matches or one of X-Pac's matches?
No, one of Matt Hardy's matches. Something like that. Now that'll start their feud.
Yes. Oh, okay. So we don't know right now at this current point in time that X-Pac is in AEW, right? Like, it's just Hardy family office versus Inner Circle.
Yeah.
So are we gonna have like X-Pac take over Matt Hardy's position? And if let's say somebody from the Inner Circle shelves Matt Hardy,
I think it's that within this, he gets injured. And so then Matt Hardy's like, old, like, you've done it now. Now I'm going to bring in an enforcer.
I'm going to bring in an associate.
But you think it's going to be like someone crazy and huge or something like that. Yeah. But then it ends up being like, that'd be just the funniest pop. That'd be the funniest pop of just like, you think he's going to bring someone big or someone crazy or someone like, maybe he hints at like something like that, but then it ends up being X-Pac and everybody pops, obviously. Yeah. But it's also just like such a funny thing of like, he might be shorter than a lot of them. He is shorter than a lot of them, but then he kicks the crap out of all of them.
Yeah.
And then you could have like history between X-Pac and Jericho. So yeah, it's kind of like that thing of like they feud. There's this feud, and then Matt gets injured somehow, and then to enact his revenge, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to bring in someone that I know can get the job done.
Does I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, but does X-Pac own, or does Sean Waltman own that name, X-Pac, or is that a WWE name?
I don't know.
So do you think if he hypothetically debuted in AEW that JR would just be like, my God, it's Sean Waltman.
They'd probably call him by Sean
Waltman.
Yeah, they probably call him by Sean Waltman. They probably then be like, the 1, 2. Actually, I don't even. Yeah, it's so hard to say. Oh wait, WWE was the 1, 2, 3 kid in X-Pac. In WCW, he was 6, and in TNA, he was 6-pack.
So he could probably be 6-pack again.
Yeah, probably.
It's Sean Waltman. It's 6-pack. Oh my God. This is the Hardy family special enforcer. He's 48 years old. Or however old. How old is Sean Waltman presently? You've got the Wikipedia open.
He was born in 72.
I'm not doing that math, Marty.
So he's almost 50 years old.
It's Sean Waltman. He's almost 50 years old.
He's 49 right now.
He's 49 years old. It's 6-pack.
But imagine if he could still go.
Okay, well, in our universe, he's still obviously going to be able to go. So he'll run down. I need to jog my memory here. Does X-Pac have any signature weapons?
I don't think weapons.
No.
I mean, yeah, I don't think he ever had any like signature weapons. It was more just like him being kind of like wild and crazy. Because he was in that. He was in NWO. He was in DX. He tag teamed with Kane. That was a huge one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about his TNA run. It seems like he was in the X division, just very briefly.
The X-Pac division.
the 6th division.
They named it after him.
I was just trying to remember what his finishing moves were. Oh yeah, Bronco Buster. That's not finishing moves. It's signature. 1, 2, 3 kick. X-Factor. The X Factor. That was the big one. Yeah. The 6 kick. The Buzz Killer, which is a cross-faced chicken wing.
Chicken wing. Okay.
Slap some of that
moonsault, diving leg drop.
You better slap some of that JR barbecue sauce on that chicken wing.
Thank you, everybody. We can now do our 3 out of 10 JR impersonations in person.
Slap that chicken wing with some JR barbecue sauce.
Imagine if
Sean Waltman showed up JR barbecue sauce.
Imagine if JR just aggressively promoted his barbecue sauce on commentary every week. Oh my goodness.
It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Time for some JR barbecue sauce.
It's Wednesday. You know, I almost like, it feels like I'm almost doing Stone Cold at this way. It's Wednesday. Wednesday is time for wings. And wings and barbecue sauce is the greatest combination, especially. It's my barbecue sauce. It's JR signature barbecue sauce.
And at the bottom line, don't go
Okay, so all right, so
I guess what we should say is, what is the inciting incident that has the Inner Circle face the Matt Hardy or the Hardy family office?
I think the Hardy family office should launch their own celebrity alcohol to compete directly with a little bit of the bubbly.
Okay, I like
because
that.
that's like a big time money making scheme, and everybody does it. I
love it. I love
like,
it.
They're
that's
like
great.
Every fucking celebrity like has a tequila or a whiskey or like some signature liquor.
Screw, oh, you're going after the tag titles. We're going after screw that. Make it fun. Yeah, it's like Matt Hardy's like, I got a new business venture.
Yeah,
Well, it has to do something with Private Party as well, because that's their whole thing, right?
Yeah, so maybe it's like the Hardy's hard juice, Hardy's hard juice, Hardy hard.
It's like party hard.
Yeah.
But it's Hardy Hard.
Private Party.
You ready to Hardy Hard?
So Hardy Hard Juice and Gin and Juice.
That's
so
their move. Get it?
Hardy's Hard Juice is the celebrity liquor that Matt Hardy is trying to hawk in AEW.
And he could be like, I got a lot of great deals.
Yeah.
We got a lot of great sponsorships with big celebrities, big time celebrities.
Yeah, big time celebrities.
Shaq, he's coming back. He loves it.
Yeah.
Charles
Barkley. Just all of the inside the NBA TNT crew.
Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson.
He loves getting. He loves Private Party can be like, oh yeah, Mike Tyson loves getting crazy with that Hardy juice.
Yeah, the Hardy juice. Hardy's Hard Juice. It hits you hard like a Mike Tyson jab, like a Mike Tyson
knockout
haymaker. Knock your ass out. Oh my God. And of course, Chris Jericho being the only person with a wrestling liquor in AEW, he takes notice of that and he's like, wait a second. They are trying to steal our business from us. And like, I think it would be really funny for the Hardy family office to run commercials with like Hardy's Hard Juice. They should actually sell it. Like people would buy it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
It would be like funny. Cheesy, like when they're like when the Inner Circle ran those commercials with a little bit of the bubbly, where like it's like so horribly acted. It's like,
yeah,
yo, what is this, man? I can't wait to open up this bottle of champagne. Oh, Chris, open up the briefcase. Oh, yeah. It's beautiful. Like, I think they should actually do a carbon copy of that.
They do their own version, and then Chris Jericho takes offense at this.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what to say. He's like, I will not stand for this.
Yeah.
How is this passed by quality control?
Yeah.
Whose stupid idea was this?
Also, what's in it? We don't know what's in it.
You could have Santana or Ortiz be like, yo, we had a little bit of that. I got fucked up.
Yeah. I don't remember going to sleep, bro. I don't remember how I got back to my hotel room, man.
I woke up in the Bronx.
Yeah, I was like, oh, what? It's like, oh my God.
I started in Florida.
Yeah.
They're just like, I don't know what's in it, man. Screw you up.
Yeah. It's like, oh, it's, and then Hager just like, maybe you're like, where's Jake? And you see a bottle of like Hardy's Hard Juice, and then Jake Hager is just like starfished in the change room, and it's like completely empty, and it's like, oh my God, no, Jake.
So in Jericho's whole offense is like, you can't have. There's no competitor to a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah,
and so then
I think he protests to Tony Khan. He's like, Tony, you can't allow this. Because if you do, then everybody is going to have celebrity liquor within wrestling.
I think in the process of Hardy like advertising it, he has to take jabs at a little bit of the bubbly.
Yeah.
Like he'll just call it trash and
yeah.
And say
it's not even real champagne.
Say it. Yeah.
It doesn't come from the Champagne province of France.
Say that it's a toilet swill and that takes big offense. And then it just eventually comes out to a brawl or like cutting a promo in the ring and then Hardy comes out and then a brawl and shit like that.
Yeah.
But so it then eventually leads to
I think there should be a brawl and then Tony Schiavone would be like, okay, straight from Tony Khan, next week there will be an official taste test. We're going to bring in unbiased members of the AEW audience to do a taste test of Hardy's Hard Juice and a little bit of the bubbly so we can decide once and for all who has the best, most pristine and luxurious liquor in AEW. And the following week, I think this is actually where we can injure Matt Hardy.
Okay,
because I think we should get it could be a brawl.
Oh, you could do like a bottle smash,
and somebody really smashes a bottle on top, like smashes a bottle of a little bit of the bubbly or of Hardy's Hard Juice on his head, and he's out of commission.
And then Hardy could easily then sell that later as like with like, because you know how in his characters he loves to like play up the like wrestling like behind the scenes sort of like lingo and language, like inside baseball stuff.
Yeah.
He can be like Sammy Guevara took an unprotected headshot against me with that bottle of champagne.
Yeah. Oh, that would be funny if it is Sammy who does it too. Like he has just like an opening, and obviously Sammy and Matt Hardy have history, right?
Yes.
And they wrestled, and
I completely forgot about that.
But Matt Hardy almost died, from a head trauma. So it's like, how dare you, Sammy? After you almost ended my career, you take this cheap shot from behind with your little bit of the bubbly. And, if that bottle had a bit better structural integrity, I would have died. And then he uses it as an opportunity to take a jab at the quality of the glass of the bottle.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because everything that is a little bit of the bubbly and associated with the inner circle is a little bit low quality, but everything that is Hardy Family Office is pristine.
Yeah.
It is premium.
So then Matt Hardy's out, and then they're up to have a 5-on-5 match. But Hardy can't compete.
Yeah.
So he brings in an enforcer.
Yeah.
He brings in an outside what's the term? Not just enforcer, but outside assistant.
Yeah, like a weapon, a hired gun, if you will. Yeah. A mercenary. And I think maybe this should happen, like they should be like, okay, now it's going to be a 5-on-5, the inner circle versus a Hardy Family Office, but Hardy Family Office can't compete. So I think like before they reveal that they have a hired gun or somebody coming in to replace Matt Hardy in the match, I think they should like do that in a segment that's like a shareholders meeting. It's an annual shareholders meeting, and Matt has his head all bandaged up, and he's like, "Yeah, okay, everybody, this is what we need to do."
They take like applications.
Yeah. I think people should come in and
you have like Luther and like all the dark people.
It's like, you should have like I don't know, Brian Pillman Jr. come in. You should have just like a bunch of random ass people.
Orange Cassidy.
It's like, are you gonna be in the match? And he's like,
hey, boy, just thumbs down. How much do you want to join the Hardy Family Office? I don't care.
No, he's just like, it's like, okay, so I'll take that as a yes. And then he goes,
I heard there's free donuts here.
Yeah, and I think Bear Country should come in, and it's just like, we can't take both of you. We simply just do not have the resources to accept both of you, and then they just both turn around and leave. And then he's like, okay, I don't know what to do. And then Matt Hardy, or maybe somebody. I think each member of the Hardy Family Office maybe like recommend somebody, and they bring them in, and then there's some reason why they are not the right fit.
Yeah,
and that's the joke. And then Matt Hardy is like, well, obviously I trusted all of you to find a replacement, but I think I'm gonna have to call an old friend.
That'd be good. Yeah.
And it's like, oh damn.
So when I went, was because I thought of a perfect, like a fun way to introduce, like, there are some times where in AEW I actually more so enjoy that when they introduce people, they'll just flat out be like, here they are, and let them come out and kind of soak in that. But if we want X-Pac to be the heel, then what we need him to do is do a heelish thing. And so what I think is like, Hardy Family Office comes out on stage to interrupt Jericho and them, right? And they say like we've seen them do this whole hiring process thing beforehand, and then Jericho can make some remark like what McDonald's like drive-through worker did you hire to come in and do your dirty work or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Just what bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, what jobber?
Yeah.
What jobber have you sad sacks convinced to come in this match to get your asses kicked by the Inner Circle.
Yeah. And so then, and they're like, well, you know him very well, Jericho. Here he is. And then they like play music. And then on the screen, it says X, or it says Six-Pac. Or it says Sean Waltman, whatever.
Yeah.
But then what happens is, like Hager, Santana Ortiz, and Jericho kind of go up to the ropes, and Sammy's like a little behind them in the ring.
Yeah.
And the Hardy family office is on the stage.
I know what's happening here.
And then from the crowd slides in Sean Waltman with a chair. Sammy turns around and then gimmicked headshot.
He should have a bottle of Hardy's Heart Juice.
Or that, yeah. Yeah.
He comes in with the Hardy's Heart Juice, and he just skulls Sammy with it. Yeah, it's like, oh, my phone.
That'd be really good.
Yeah. And then everyone is shocked, just absolutely shocked. And of course, like, then Six-Pac, X-Pac, Sean Waltman slides out of the ring to join the Hardy family office at the front, because he's running for backup, and everyone's like chatting to see if like Sammy's okay. He's like, his head is just, maybe there's gimmicked blood, but like I imagine Hardy's Heart Juice is like of like a pink color,
right?
To match up with like the Private Party.
That'd be good.
And it's kind of like a neon pink, like a Pepto-Bismol pink looking liqueur. Obviously, it's not as thick and opaque, but like, you know, it's an ugly drink that I think like
just also to add like a bit of like color. and showman, sort of just like make it a big gesture of just smashing it, and like it goes everywhere and whatnot. So
yeah. And I think the match, the 5v5, does not happen that night, because they're like, oh no, Sammy like can't compete. But they do. This is part of the feud, of course, that they will eventually have this 5v5, and I think then you have maybe a rubber match. I think you have 3 matches. You have one that's the traditional 5v5. Then you have like a gimmick 5v5. And then you have like the rubber match to settle the feud, be like Six-Pac versus Sammy Guevara, and like a hardcore match involving like, maybe it's a hardcore match, but the only weapon is bottles of a little bit of the bubbly.
Oh, that'd be
funny. And Hardy's Heart Juice.
You could have well, I think like when it's faction versus faction, you definitely have to have like you said, stage matches, stage matches and stuff. You could then have like a tag team match where it's like Butcher and Blade versus Santana Ortiz, but then Waltman comes out with them, and then he like interferes in some way.
Yeah. That's like part of the build up to, I think, the first match is do that.
You could have Jericho versus Waltman.
Yeah.
But then within it, Hardy family office does something to take out Jericho, or at least like whatever, and that's when Sammy comes back, and then Sammy like calls out Waltman and is like,
yeah, that's
X-Pac,
true.
You, me, 1-on-1.
Yeah.
And then it's this match that you're talking about where it's like, what could it be called?
I think they
Champagne Bar Brawl match.
Champagne Bar Brawl. I think it should be called. Yeah, I mean, if we were to be very realistic and sort of efficient about it, like, we would protect Sean Waltman as much as possible because we don't know if he can still go. So we would do like the first match could be like a traditional like 5v5 type like in-ring match,
right?
That gets messed up somehow, and then the second one could be like a gimmick 5v5, like a stadium stampede or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the last one could also be like a cinematic gimmick match that's like a bar brawl. Or maybe we should do the bar brawl for the second match and then do not a gimmick match, like a liquor license on a pole match, or like it's like a Money in the Bank, but it's like the exclusive contract to be the sole sponsor and liquor provider for AEW. Like, it's the
that'd be funny.
So yeah, it's a ladder match, and It's
liquor license ladder match.
The liquor license ladder match, and whoever wins gets exclusive rights to promote their liquor product in AEW, and
love it so much.
And then whoever loses has to stop selling their product
That's
immediately.
So dumb.
And they can't sell it. They can't promote it. They can't even change the name. Like, they're simply just not allowed on AEW television to promote liquor or to sell liquor.
That's really funny. I love it so much.
Okay, so like, yeah.
So then what within there is what I'm just sort of wondering is what within there is the X-Pac versus Sammy match.
That's the main event. Like,
okay,
the liquor license ladder match is the Sammy versus six-pack match.
Okay, cool.
Because after the bar brawl, I think they realized that like they need to just like settle it in the most highest stakes way and to have like a final proper solution to this feuds or to the problem that is at hand. So I think like after the bar brawl, it gets very messy. I don't know who wins. We can figure that out. I think, maybe the Inner Circle has to win that because I think the Hardy Family Office has to win the first 5v5. It's like a traditional 5v5.
Right.
And I just think like Sammy is not 100% when he returns, and like maybe he eats the pin from, I don't know, the Blade, or I don't want X-Pac to pin him like right away.
Yeah.
I just think that maybe
be Private Party.
Maybe like hits the X Factor and then they do the then Private Party hits Sammy with the tag team finisher,
Gin Juice.
Yeah. And then one of them pins Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, oh my god. And Jericho's so pissed. He's like, we're not finished. We can't.
Yeah,
you're not gonna get away with this.
Oh no, Jericho is absolutely perfect with being the person to go, this isn't over.
Yeah,
this isn't over.
It's not fair.
He's the perfect person to be like, we're not done with you.
Yeah, it's got to be. I think the way that each member of Inner Circle.
It's basically what's happening with Inner Circle and Pinnacle right now.
Yeah, but more fun.
Oh yeah,
and like the Pinnacle feud is like very much like, I think it's about honor and about MJF, like, you know, usurping Jericho as like, you know, the heel, the guy
100%
of AEW. And like, I think this feud is more just like a fun thing.
Yeah, no, this is definitely more just like silly and goofy, but then also like hard hitting wrestling along with it. But yeah, so it's like they go to have their 5v5 that they planned originally, and X-Pac is now in Hardy's place. This is where then like Hardy gets the chance, or not Hardy, X-Pac gets the chance to like show off what he can do still. And it'll get like people that remember him, like it's that sort of fan service of like, hey, remember X-Pac can go, and like showing that off and everything. And then that ends in like not a screwy finish, but it ends in a like something happens. Maybe Hardy gets involved.
There should also be a spot where like there should be like this a very sort of egregious logo for Hardy's Hard Juice, and they should have like maybe even just like a pink like bandana or something that X-Pac would wear, and he takes the bandana off and he like puts it like on his crotch, and then so when he does the Bronco Buster to Jericho, the face, it should be like Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy's face is just hitting Chris Jericho's in the Bronco Buster.
Yeah,
and that's like the ultimate disrespect.
Oh, that'd be really funny. That's good. I like that. That's really funny.
Take off the bandana, you just tuck it in his pants, and then he sets up Jericho for it, and it just goes boom.
That's funny.
Boom.
Yeah, I think the finish to that is like maybe it's a thing of like there's a distraction, and X-Pac then like comes in and gives Sammy the X Factor, and like just to keep that rivalry together.
Yeah,
and then that's where like then Private Party are able to then get their stuff in, and then do Gin and Juice. Boom, 1, 2, 3, pin, 1, 2, 3, win. This isn't over, and then it can build up to the 5v5 like gimmick match of like the
bar
champagne bar brawl, and it's like kind of a sort of cinematic, like half cinematic match where it's just stuff like filmed earlier, sort of, you know, mix of live and all that.
And I think Matt, like the Hardy Family Office, should go very aggressive with like branding random things for Hardy's Hard Juice.
Or maybe, how about this? Maybe they're in a random, like maybe they're in a random. What would be a good place? What I'm thinking is, what if it's a Vineyard Vengeance match?
Vineyard Vengeance.
and then it's at like and they like manage to find like a vineyard, and then they're brawling in like
that's pretty funny actually
in the grapes, and then like inside where like all the stuff is, and they're getting thrown into like the machines and stuff like that. Like, that'd be really funny.
Oh yeah, that would be really good. And I think
where it'd be in California somewhere, obviously.
Yeah, which is famously known for like red wine and not so much champagne, but that's still funny. I think a Vineyard Vengeance match is really funny where they
just trying to put in like the setting, because otherwise you'd put it in like a bar, but it's like it's not really a barroom brawl because they're trying to make. I mean, you could, but I just think like. If it's anything to do with Jericho, it has to be like over the top wacky.
Yeah.
And so it's like we're in California and we're gonna take you to the limit in a Vineyard Vengeance match.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it should line up so that they are exactly in a place.
It's very much a Jericho.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, and like throwing somebody into like a bunch of grapes and like trying to stomp on them. They're like buried in grapes, so they're just like stomping around and making wine.
A comically giant large tub of grapes.
Yeah. Somebody gets tossed in some grapes for sure. And I think they bring, like, since it's at a vineyard, I think like the Hardy Family Office needs to like bring a bunch of bottles of Hardy's hard juice just to like try to level the playing field. And maybe they have like so much like aggressively branded stuff that they're just like, even like pink spray paint or something to just like you spray it on somebody and you like kick them into a vat of wine.
They have like bandanas, they have shirts, they have scarves and all that stuff, and you have fucking Butcher and Blade still dressed as they are normally, then just with just like a bandana. Still looking super tough, but it's just like
a little bit of the bubbly on the overalls or something. Yeah, that would be really, really funny. There's other fun things at wineries, of course. I think like if there's like farming equipment anywhere, like, you know, getting hit with a rake or like somebody charging at someone with a pair of shears.
You can just have a callback and just have Sammy get chased down by like a tractor.
Yeah.
Instead of a golf cart, it's a tractor this time.
I think X-Pac should be driving it too. And he's driving the tractor trying to chase down Sammy within like the vineyard. So it's like,
should be really
he's
funny.
Like running around and he's like, ah.
That'd be good.
There's also got to be a spot where Jericho is like aggressively feeding someone grapes, like just like keeps shoving them in their mouth. He's like, eat the grapes, eat the grapes. He like lists off a very specific grape. He's like, this is in season. He's just jamming it in someone's mouth.
I imagine that like, even though it's 5v5, like Hardy is there, obviously.
Yeah.
And so it could be that thing where he's like...
He feeds just shoving grapes in Matt Hardy's mouth.
You like juice? You like juice, Matt? Huh?
You make your own juice. Take these grapes. You take your mouth. And he just like tries like he crushes his mouth with his hand. He's like, chew those grapes. Make that Hardy's hard juice. Yeah, and of course the inner circle has to go over in this match.
Yeah.
And yeah, to settle the feud.
I mean, you have, and it could easily be like someone. Probably just have Sammy do it again. Sammy finish. But it's on like one of the private party guys.
Yeah.
Or something. And it's got to be like a big spot.
I'm trying to think of what the biggest spot in a winery could be. Like, what's the move there?
Don't know. I could just be like a giant power bomb into like a huge vat. Or
a huge vat of wine, and then they get up and it's like you're dyed red.
Oh, that'd be so funny. And then the next week on Dynamite, he just comes out.
He's still red.
Still red.
Somebody should somebody should power bomb
as if they were completely stained head to toe. That'd be amazing.
I think it should be maybe the Blade that takes the finish.
Sure,
then.
That'd be really
so
funny.
Then maybe it's like
because he doesn't say anything, and it'd just be funny.
It's just Hager and like Guevara and Jericho do like a triple power bomb of the Blade, or actually if it's a triple power bomb it should be the Butcher. So they triple power bomb the Butcher into like a giant vat of wine, and he gets up and everything is red. There's wine dripping down his mustache and beard. His overalls are dyed red. His skin is like red wine dyed red. And basically, the next week he shows up and he's still red.
That's
and
really
he's wearing
funny.
like the same outfit. He's like it's like crusty. Basically,
that's so good.
It's like, oh, you haven't showered, and it's like he tried.
And then, so then I guess what would happen. So who should then? Would it be Hardy or would it be Jericho? Who's like, there's only one way to settle this once and for all. Where it's like, I guess it'd be kind of more Jericho, where it's like, there's only one way to settle this once and for all, and that's to get the exclusive. Like, that's why I don't know who it would be.
Yeah.
Hardy would be more on the side of like, we need to sell this once and for all. Who will get the exclusive rights to sell their brand of beverage? You know?
Yeah, I think. But Hardy draws up a contract. He's like, we're gonna sort this out once and for all. I've drawn up an exclusive contract to the rights of selling endorsed alcohol and liquor on this show.
It could be that he like wants to make a truce.
Yeah,
a truce.
A truce.
And they have like a contract signing thing, and then Jericho could be the one to be like, tear it up or something and go and be the one to say like, only one of us can. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So
where Hardy clearly is trying to screw him over.
Yeah.
And then that's what I'm trying to think of, like, what is a better moment? Is it Hardy being like, no, this is how we're going to finish it once and for all? Or is it Jericho going like, there's only one way to stop this? And then they say like, and then that's where Guevara like calls out Waltman being like, saying, you're the one who started this all. Like that sort of thing. Like he's like, you're the one who started this all.
Yeah.
You and me in the ladder match.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I like where that's going. I think we should set it up like this. I think after the Vineyard Vengeance match, Matt Hardy says that he has privately met with Jericho to discuss a truce or an agreement, and now they are about to sign a contract that grants them both equal opportunity to sell their products on AEW television, and the contract is drafted up by smart Mark Sterling, the AEW lawyer, and he's in the ring, and they like open up the folders as like kind of like a traditional contract signing. Everybody of their faction is in the ring and stuff, and there's like
Jericho takes out glasses.
Yeah.
And reads the fine print.
There's like a giant like sort of metal bowl that has ice in it that has some little bit of the bubbly. There's another one on the opposite side of the table that has the Hardy's hard juice.
He could be trying to do like a merger.
Yeah.
Equal shareholders.
Yeah, exactly. So I think
real business lingo.
Yeah. So that's the thing, right? It's the contract that Matt Hardy and smart Mark Sterling have drafted up is a merger, is a hostile takeover. If Jericho signs it, then a little bit of the bubbly becomes a part of the Hardy family office brand.
Yeah.
So he's trying to trick him into signing it, and Jericho realizes, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he's about to sign it, maybe, and he's like, "You think you could trick me?" and then Matt Hardy's like,
I can imagine Jericho saying that, where he like takes out his glasses, like he reads over and everything.
Oh yeah, or maybe he's like, "You think I'm some sort of idiot? You think I'm a stupid idiot?" And Matt Hardy's like, "No."
Jericho's just like, "You think you can trick me?"
Yeah, and then he's like, "You think you can trick me?
You think you can trick me?"
And
you think I'm some sort of idiot?
Yeah, you think I'm some sort of idiot, Matt? Matt, you respect me as a businessman, Matt? And then he's like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" And he's like, "Well, I'll tell you what I'm gonna do." And then he takes the contract and then he rips it up and he throws it in Matt Hardy's face, and then it's just a big brawl and everybody's fighting each other. And if the ring clears, and I think there's an opportunity for Sean Waltman and for Sammy Guevara to both grab their individual bottles and go to hit each other, and maybe somebody like runs down and like breaks it up. Like it's
you could have
it's like Tony Schiavone maybe is in the ring, and he's like, no.
Yo, you could have Tony Schiavone come down and go and try to stop it, and he says, "I've just received word from Tony Khan."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hold on. I've just received word from Tony Khan that he has decided there's only one way to settle this,
and that is a liquor license ladder match. And everyone's like, "What the fuck? What?" And it's like, and each member, there's only one member of each team.
Would it be more impactful for it to already be decided, or for each of them to decide?
No, it's already decided. I think it's more impactful
where then like they're all standing there, and that's where then like Tony Schiavone says, and it's been decided that this will be settled in a liquor license ladder match.
Yeah.
Representing the inner circle will be Sammy Guevara, and representing the Hardy family office will be X-Pac Sean Waltman.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, "What? No, why?" And then we get like the video package leading up to the match of like why it's the individual people.
The Sammy one would be great, because you have Sammy being like, "You started this, Sean," and like dive deep into him. He's like, "I respect you."
Yeah,
it's that whole thing. Of
I grew up watching you. You were my idol. But and then Sean Waltman is just like, "You disrespected a legend. You hit a ball. You hurt him once, and you almost ended his career again. And this time, I'm gonna end you. And we're gonna get the exclusive liquor license and negotiating rights.
I was like,
and
you
right to sell.
You know, you can play back like you threw a chair at him.
Yeah,
you almost concussed him.
Exactly.
And retired him.
Yeah,
and it's like, and more importantly, you disrespected me, you little punk.
Yeah, you little bitch. Because everybody loves WWE and any wrestling just loves going, bitch.
That bitch.
You little bitch. Yeah, okay. That I think should be at like some sort of pay-per-view, like maybe Double or Nothing. That seems like a nice fit for it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a classic ladder match.
So it's a ladder match with hanging above it is the contract for the exclusive rights to sell your liquor beverage item.
Yeah.
And it can be a thing of like,
it should be in a champagne, like it should be rolled up and it's inside of like a champagne case, like a wine case, you know?
Oh, okay.
Like it's like a little wooden, like kind of cask, I guess you could say. Or it could just be in like a little barrel that's hanging. I'm getting really fucking stupid now.
I mean, the simple thing would be like, it's a contract. You bring it down and you sign it, and like that's it. But it could be even funnier if it's like
you have to get it, then you have to open it and grab the contract and sign it.
I mean, it could also just be as simple as just grabbing the thing. It's like,
yeah. You grab the thing, yeah,
and it's shaped, or it's in a thing that's just like. You know, you gotta make it unique. You can't just be like, it's a briefcase.
Yeah, it's not just a briefcase. It's like one of those wine casks or a wine holder of some sort.
That'd be funny.
And I think like there should be a lot of potential spots where you think someone is gonna bring out a bottle of the liquor and assault the other person with it, but then it's like, oh no, they're keeping it pretty fair. and they just like hit each other with random sponsored items, maybe.
I mean, you could have a really cool spot where it's like someone is in, like Sammy's in the corner, and then X-Pac goes and grabs a bottle, and then he goes to swing like this. Sammy moves out of the way, and then he breaks it over like the ring post.
Yeah.
And then that shatters.
Yeah. And then you could like smash a bottle of bubbly on the ground and then do a spot where like somebody lands on their back onto the broken glass. I mean, it's very, very dangerous, but if it's gimmicked properly with like candy glass or some shit, it should be okay.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good.
It would be really okay. In the same sort of vein of that spot, there should be like a little area outside the ring that has a bunch of the Hardy's hard juice. Maybe there's like crates of it, and somebody should get pushed off the ladder and fall into the crates of it and be like, ah.
But yeah, it's like
I think that should be the last spot. Actually,
they're crates, but it's kind of like they're like cardboard boxes.
Yeah, sort of thing. And there's like bottles inside too, so that when it breaks, you can see that like it's all the liquor is like spilling out, and then
you could definitely gimmick it where like you fall on it and then it just like releases like the liquid that then starts pouring out.
Yeah,
everything.
You see some broken glass around. I think that's the final spot. I think I think we think that Waltman is going to like climb up very, very fast and win this thing and get this contract. And then Guevara like tips the ladder over, and in the last minute to escape, Waltman jumps off the ladder, but he lands into these crates full of Hardy's hard juice, and he's like,
oh, you could have it where like what it could be is it could be like depending on where they are and how they have it set up and everything, it could be like the entrance for X-Pac is and the Hardy family office is like they come in like a truck that's like branded Hardy hard juice.
Yeah.
And like in the back are crates of it, and at the very beginning of the match, like they open it up and like have it and like shoot it off and stuff.
Yeah.
And like that's their whole like that's part of their entrance. And then and then he falls into the back of the truck.
That has the crates.
Has the crates and stuff. Yeah.
It'd be a really tough spot. I think I think the truck would be like ringside,
stuff, but
or it's like at least like a little like Hardy hard juice like branded golf cart, and then in the back has like all of the crates, and so that he can like jump into it. Oh my god, that's so funny. And of course the inner circle has to go over because a little bit of the bubbly is the exclusive alcohol and beverage of AEW.
But so I think that obviously these two would have some killer moments inside of this match.
Yeah.
Like the first thing that pops up to me is like X-Pac Bronco bustering Guevara on a ladder in the corner. Like that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
I think also there could be a good opportunity for X-Pac to try to hit a moonsault onto Sammy Guevara and he rolls out. And then of course you get to hit Sammy's finisher. Just that crazy reverse GTS thing. You have
Waltman try to do a moonsault, and then Sammy does a better moonsault.
Yeah.
You could have there'd be a lot of great high flying moves, but then you could have
big time drop kicks.
Yes,
huge drop kicks.
Lots of kicks. Lots of scissor kicks. Lots of head kicks. Lots of roundhouse kicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be it. It'd just be like a very fast-paced match, and that's where you can lean into like X-Pac, not necessarily, having the full capacity of what he used to be able to do, but it gets some good spots in, and include in there the moments that can help stretch out the match of climbing the ladder, coming down off of it, doing that sort of stuff. There should be a great moment where there's like maybe a ladder stretch out either in the corner or what is the X Factor again? I always forget.
It's like this like face buster thing, right?
Sit down face buster.
Yeah. So
sometimes from the top rope.
Yeah, so you like whoa.
That'd be nasty.
Yeah.
Through a ladder.
Yeah.
Ooh. Just some sort of move to like make it look as though Sammy is out, where it's one of those things where it's like a ladder that's you know how sometimes they set up the ladder to climb up, and then they put a ladder like in the ladder that's then hanging on the ropes.
Yeah.
And then they'll put someone through that.
Ooh.
Do something like a sunset flip into that.
Yeah, that would be so sick.
Because typically when that happens, the ladder definitely does not break, but they bounce, and it's pretty gnarly. So you could easily have X-Pac do a sunset flip onto Sammy and then put him into the ladder. Because then they'll, it's just having these big spots that elongate the match so that both dudes look tough, take big bumps, but then that way it's not like they don't get gassed out easily in terms of like wrestling. It's all just big moments.
Yes. And of course, that final spot being that X-Pac is about to grab the contract.
He's about to grab it.
Sammy tips the ladder over, and he goes flying into the cart with the crates and the Hardy's hard juice. And
oh my God, Waltman's about to grab the contract.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, where's Sammy and all this? Sammy's still out.
Yeah.
Oh, X-Pac is gonna win this for the Hardy family office. Oh wait, Sammy's up.
Sammy's up.
He's pushing the ladder.
Oh my God. And it's like, that's the entire inventory of Hardy's hard juice. That's the entire inventory.
Waltman crashing down from the heavens.
Yeah.
Into the entire. Yeah,
that's the entire inventory.
Oh yeah, and at the very beginning of the match, you could have when they come out and like looks like they came out with like just make a really quick joke or something where it's like they came out with their entire inventory to give out to the audience, or to sell to the audience. once they win
after their victory. Yeah,
you could have Hardy on commentary.
Yes,
that could be really entertaining too.
Yeah, and he could like run down and like and try to do something, but then it just fails spectacularly.
Yeah.
That's great.
I love that. That's such that it's silly, but also it's definitely something that I could see both Hardy and Jericho like being super into. And it's like I picked X-Pac just because I think, and we'll get to this in our question of the week this week. But I think is very underrated in terms of what he did for his factions that he was in, but then also just like as a wrestler, and I can see a lot of him in Sammy. Just like his role within the group,
all the good
style,
parts, none of the bad parts. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that's great, and it's really fun. I think like even the build up to the final match or the second match can be with like a bunch of weird like Instagram and like TikTok endorsements of each of their liquors. Like they get a bunch of like random wrestlers to do it. They try to get like big celebrities. And that would be a really fun like social media thing for them to do.
Yeah. No, that was definitely did not see this rivalry going in this direction, but I'm happy that we booked it that way. Let us know online who, how would you want to see Sammy Guevara versus Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac, Six-Pac? How would you want to see them go against each other? Who do you think would win? All that sort of stuff. Let us know.
Yes.
And to close out the episode, as always, we have our question of the week and our match recommendation. As always, you can leave us a question to be answered here on the podcast by asking us online, either on our social media for the podcast. You can leave a review of the podcast and submit a question that way, or you can leave it on our website, unknownerafilms.com/book events. Submit your question there. Also check out all the episodes are up there with links to the video version, with links to where you can watch our match recommendations as well. So yeah, this week, because I thought about factions and because I went with two dudes who are kind of like the smaller sort of, not like, well, Sammy is starting to get bigger and bigger. He's in the very beginning of his career. But I sort of thought about who are underrated wrestlers within factions. So who do you think within a faction was an underrated member?
This, like, in all of the history of wrestling, or
sure.
right now?
Yeah. Even if it's right now, even.
That's a good question.
Slapjack.
Shouts out to you.
Shouts out Slapjack.
Shouts out Slapjack.
Come on our podcast.
Yes. I think in Legado del Fantasma,
well, there's only 3 of them.
I think Joaquin Wilde is kind of underrated.
Okay.
Because I didn't realize this. Somebody in one of my wrestling group chats said that he was like, "Oh, I didn't realize DJ Zed was in Legado del Fantasma," and I was like, "Oh shit, DJ Zed from the Bromans, who was Jesse Goddard's, Robbie E, and DJ Zed in TNA." And they were a dumb faction. But DJ Zed was very entertaining. So I think that he's definitely a person who is underrated. And then, like, also, I mean, maybe in AEW, I think, faction wise, I think Stu Grayson is really underrated. I would take that stance.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, they hype him up a lot on commentary. When he finally, like, gets to, like, be on TV and, like, really show his strength. On Stu and Uno's episode of the AEW podcast, he talks about how, like, he literally, his life is training. Like, he doesn't really have any other hobbies. Like, his life is training and just making his body, like, perfect.
It shows, like, and damn.
And yeah, and I think if they gave him, like, more of the, when him and Uno, like, get to go off on, like their tag team combos and, like, show off their true wrestling potential, like, it's awesome to watch. So
yeah,
I can get that as
and
well.
also he's Canadian, so shouts out Stu.
I think that Daniel Bryan was a very underrated member of Nexus. David Otunga.
Oh my god.
What can you say that all of Nexus was underrated?
Oh my goodness.
Except for Stu. What do I say?
Wow.
I was going to say Stu Bennett, but it meant to say, what's his wrestler name? Wade Barrett. That's what it is.
Oh, yes.
Wade Barrett. His real name is Stu Bennett. We're not related.
Could be.
No, I mean, like, my answer I would go with like X-Pac. Personally.
In his faction.
In DX, I think.
Yeah.
In DX, I think he was very underrated. And like, it's cool then to see that he got to continue, because, like, obviously, you know, Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
But then Jesse James and Billy Gunn got to, you know, be the New Age Outlaws, and they got to be multiple time tag team champions and all that sort of stuff. And Pac got to be Intercontinental champion. But, like, he never got, like, anything way more than that, but he was such a good worker and such a good team player.
Right.
From everything that I've heard and read about his time in WWE and working with them. So,
is there anybody in a current faction that you would like to see more of, you think? I mean, you could say that they're underrated, or just like that you want to see their potential in their faction.
I'm just trying to think of factions.
and why is it what's his face? Dolph Ziggler's brother, Ryan Nemeth.
I love the Wingmen so much. I think
they're entirely underrated as a faction. I think they should be a part of a big storyline.
They are so funny.
Yeah.
And they're so good at just being goofy and weird. I love, I mean, more than anything, I love watching, like, these 3, like, it's the magic of what they have come up with is so incredibly funny, because you have Cesar Bononi, who's this giant Italian.
I think he's Brazilian.
Brazilian?
Yeah.
This giant, exotic kind of dude. Then you have Ryan Nemeth, who is like, you know, the Hollywood hunk.
Yeah,
okay, he's the blonde, blue-eyed,
yeah,
you know, sort of thing. Not fucking Peter Avalon. I love pretty Peter Avalon, who's like the Weasleyest dude, but he thinks he's
so hot.
He's so hot. It is so funny. And then you got DJ Drake or JD Drake.
Yeah,
and he's one of these things is not like the other, and it's
really funny though. And I think and
they have great dynamics between them.
And
all.
if they really gave JD Drake a makeover, like a true makeover, he went away for a little while and he came back and he was super fucking svelte and jacked. That would be really funny. And obviously, there's no problem with the way he looks right now, but for the sake of the comedy, yeah. If he did shape up a lot and he wears goofy clothes that are nice, but if you just show up in a suit,
this is again me telling the audience you need to watch Being the Elite, because there's an amazing bit that they did on there where they go into one of their hotel rooms and they said they're going to do yoga, and Cesar takes out the book of Kama Sutra. They say, yeah, we're going to do yoga. We lit some candles.
Oh my.
And then Drake's like, have you even looked inside that book? And Avalon and Nemeth are like, oh no, yeah, we're gonna do some. We heard it's hot yoga.
Oh my god!
and he's like, I know it's in. Drake's like, I know it's in that book. Ain't no yoga in that book. He's like, open it up. And Cesar's like, all right, fine, I'll open it up. Opens it up and and Drake's just like, I'm out of here. I'm gonna go get dinner. And they're like, "Oh yeah, no, we'll just meet up later, guys."
Shouts out to the wingmen.
They're so good. All right. Well, let us know who do you think is a underrated member of a faction, either a past one or a current one. Let us know. And to close out the episode, a match recommendation for y'all to go and watch. Do you have one, Anthony? Our light just went out. Come on. Well, that light went out. That's okay. We're at the end of the episode.
The light's out. Do I have one?
For our lovely listeners and viewers to go and check out.
I'm like, what's a match that Sammy's been in recently that's been good? I mean, other than all the Stadium Stampede matches that have been fun, but
I would love to go watch his very first match with AEW.
Yeah.
The other thing too is it was Sammy versus Darby Allin. It was Sammy versus Kip Sabian.
Yes.
In the very first match on Dynamite.
But also
that
on
No, it wasn't Dynamite.
Was that at All In? No.
Yes.
Was it?
It was the
All right, let's consult our phones for this exact moment.
I'm just gonna double check it.
But yes, that's what I'm thinking as well. That would be a good one.
I'm just trying to remember. What was it? I know it was Sammy versus.
Yes, because I remember seeing him for the first time and being like, "Wow, his hair looks so stupid."
Oh no, it was Sammy versus Cody. Sammy versus Cody was the first ever Dynamite match, and that's where the Inner Circle formed.
All right, there we go, folks. That's the match I'm recommending. Sammy versus Cody at the first ever Dynamite.
I know there was something before that on a pay-per-view. It was either Double or Nothing. It might have been Double or Nothing, where it was like the buy-in was Sammy versus Kip. But I more just thought of that because you said, what's a good Sammy match? And I thought it would be cool to see where he was over a year ago now.
Yeah.
And how much he's evolved since then.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. I think that's a great choice.
Cool. So yeah, go watch Sammy versus Cody, first ever Dynamite, the first ever match on AEW Dynamite.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting just to see the evolution of where Dynamite has come and gone. And of course, you can go check that out on our website because we'll link to that so you can watch it for free. Thank you very much for listening in or watching this episode of the podcast.
This first in-person recording episode of the podcast.
Crazy.
Yes.
Crazy that this is real.
That time has passed so long and that we've had so many episodes where we have done it over Zoom, and now this is the first one in person. Yeah. And hopefully many more. And I'm sure there'll be a mix of Zoom recorded episodes still as well when we are in different places and or with special guests from all over.
Exactly. Cool. Thank you very much for checking out the podcast, listening, watching, all that good stuff. You can follow everything that we do here at Unknown Error by searching online at UE_films. You can follow myself on Instagram or Twitter at Barton_Minute. You can follow Mr. Anthony Hall
at Hall and Jokes on Instagram and Twitter.
And you can follow the podcast on Twitter at BookItVincePod, where we do live tweets of events, polls, goofs, clips,
yes,
all that fun stuff.
All that jazz.
So thank you very much for watching and or listening. Go watch some wrestling. Be safe out there, and we'll catch you next time.
We'll get too sweet in person.
We get too sweet in person.
Yeah.